Okay, guys, today we're going to be talking about the multiplication properties of exponents. And, this is easy stuff, but I have to say it was one of the things that really sort of caught my interest. One of the first things in math that I thought, wow, that's kind of cool the way that works. And, you may or may not find it that way, but I did. So, let's look at some of the ways that these things work. This first one here says 4 squared times 4 to the 5th. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 4 squared. Oh, here we go. 4 squared is 4 times 4. Remember, exponents are just repeated multiplication. And then over here to the right, just right of it, I'm going to write 4 to the 5th. So that's 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. You can tell why we don't use dots for multiplication very often, because they kind of look like decimals there. Okay? And remember, it was 4 squared times 4 to the 5th. And you can see it's really not two separate items being multiplied, but it's really one big multiplication problem, and it's 4 to the 7th. Okay? So the rule here is that when I have like bases, and in this case I have 4 as the base, and they're the same, all I have to do is add the exponents. 2 plus 5 gives me 7. Now in this next one, you'll see it says 4 squared to the 5th. Well, I'll do the same thing again, but I think you might get the idea here. 4 squared times 4 squared times 4 squared times 4 squared times 4 squared. Okay, that's 4 to the 5th, or 4 squared to the 5th. So if I were going to find out what the answer is, I add all of their exponents, right? But I don't want to do that. Repeated addition is multiplication. So remember, whenever I've got exponents separated by a parenthesis, like I do here, I multiply them. 5 times 2 is 4 to the 10th. I don't need to write any of this, right? I can just do 4 squared to the 5th is the same as 4 to the 10th. 2 times 5, 10. Okay? Now in this next example, I don't have like bases. But you can see, since they're being multiplied, it's 2 to the 1st times 5 to the 1st. Okay? And what I can do is I actually distribute the exponent. 2 times 1 is 2, so I get 2 squared times 5 squared. Now I want you to think about this just before we look at that. I mean, that is correct. But this would be 2 times 5 is 10, squared is 100. And then if I look to the right, 2 squared is 4 times 5 squared, which is 25. So that's 4 times 25, that's also 100. Okay? So you can see that this is the same as 10 squared. Okay, we're going to get the same thing. We distributed that exponent. I'm actually going to do another little example here. What about x squared y? And then this whole thing cubed. Now, you'll remember, if I don't see an exponent, then the exponent is 1. So the exponent of y is 1. The answer to this one would be x to the 6. Remember, I'm going to multiply these two things. They're being multiplied. And 3 times 1, so that's going to give me y cubed. Okay, so I hope that gives you an explanation and an understanding about what's happening there. And I think it's time for us to look at some examples. All right, good job, guys.